Hello to everyone who's watching this inaugural episode of this podcast, which I have not yet decided a name for yet. I might be going for just like Cal Convos since I'm like hoping to like talk with like Berkeley students or like alumni. So for our first guest, we have my good friend Anthony. So we've like known each other for like a really long time, right?
Yeah, we've known each other since probably middle school, or since I was in middle school probably.
Which is like when I was in like elementary school too.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like a
so-
long while.
Yeah.
So you're like working at like Amazon right now, right?
Yeah.
Full time, right?
Yeah, full time. I've been working for 3 weeks now, so I'm about to start my 4th week. And yeah, it's been interesting. Like,
Are you doing software engineering kind of stuff?
yeah, software engineering. So I'm kind of like realizing, or this is like my first, I guess, like full-time job. Before I've done like internships or like short stints at like a startup or something, but it's my first time like feeling like I'm officially integrated into the workforce.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot, not just about like the field, but also about like myself, like kind of like what I'm good at and what I like and stuff like that.
And you also like previously interned at Amazon, right?
Yeah, I interned at Amazon last year,
Mhm.
so that was the summer of my junior year. That was like the 3-month internship, and yeah.
You're working at like Sunnyvale.
So that's where I interned,
Okay.
and that was originally where I was supposed to go, for like the job that I have now. But what ended up happening was, I think my team got moved to like a Santa Clara building, so that like I can be there while they're creating like a new building in the Sunnyvale campus.
Yeah.
So I'll eventually like move back to Sunnyvale.
Yeah. How's the commute there, like from here to Sunnyvale?
The commute, yeah. Okay, let me be honest. It's pretty bad. Like,
Really?
honestly, that's one of the worst parts of work life right now.
Yeah.
Is just the fact that like, the entire commute is probably, like 3 hours, like round trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's like 1.5 hours, like both.
yeah. So I think morning is like faster, and then evening it's like it takes a little longer, but basically like I have to go out of the house at like 7, a little before 7:30, and then I come back home a little past 7.
Okay.
So that's like a straight 12 hours of my day that's just gone.
Yeah. Do you take BARTs or like drive or anything?
So Amazon provides like shuttles.
Oh, okay.
So like I just take that, and it like I'm really glad that they provide shuttles, first of all, because it would be driving there, because at least I can sleep on the shuttle.
Yeah.
Like I can take a break.
Don't have to worry about homeless crazy people on the bar.
Yeah. So I'm grateful for that, but it's the only thing that bothers me right now is just like the time that is like kind of burned from like the commute, because I would prefer like if I'm working like 8 to 9 hours a day, that I have the extra time to do what I like outside of work.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like that commute is like, if it was just like maybe like one or 1.5 hours shorter, like it would feel so much better, you know.
For the entire round trip thing, right?
Yeah.
So like, what's the work that you're doing at Amazon right now? Like,
I don't know. I don't know how in depth I can go.
Without really revealing too much about it, or?
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm working on like a secret project or anything. But
Yeah.
It's to be general. It's just like Alexa related stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So basically, it's like software engineer working on.
Our dog Max is below this the table right now.
Yeah. Just working on integrating Alexa into like various devices. So, yeah.
So like, since we're talking about Berkeley, I guess in this podcast in general, so like, where did your like, I guess like interest in CS kind of start, like before college, and like how it's kind of like evolved throughout the 4 years of Berkeley?
Yeah, so it's funny because when I first started CS, like I was...
Was it like high school?
Yeah, so like my mom really told me to like kind of like take this like CS class, and so and like the first CS class I took, I got like a C in it. Like I almost failed the class,
Yeah.
and that was like the biggest fight I ever had with my parents. It was,
Oh,
like,
shoot.
from that moment, and like when I ended up graduating from high school, like I had an opportunity to choose my major, and I still chose CS for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's really weird. I guess it's
Did
'cause,
you really
like,
enjoy it at all, like during high school? Like,
okay, so high school CS classes are like an absolute joke.
yeah.
So
yeah.
like they literally like kids in the class are just like ecstatic that like, oh, like we have like computers in the classroom, right?
I can
So
go
like,
on cool math
yeah,
games.
yeah. So like people are just playing games in class like all day.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like it didn't really give me any exposure to CS, like any exposure to like what CS really is.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't know why I chose CS when I went to college. Maybe it's because like my parents kept saying like, oh, this is like such a stable industry, like the pay is great, and it's like what everyone's going for right now, right? I mean, maybe that's why I chose it.
Okay.
So like that's how I chose it at first, and then like once I started coding, once I started like actually doing projects and stuff like in college, that's when I was like, oh, okay, like this is pretty cool. Like for example, I'm learning things about like technology that I use every day.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't learn CS, then like half the stuff on this computer I'd be like, oh, this does stuff for me, but I have no clue what's going on behind the scenes, right? So it's nice to have that that knowledge about what you're using, and also it's really cool to make like projects because like, you feel like you're really creative and you have like this ownership over something.
So like both like in class like assigned projects, but also like side
yeah,
projects
in the
too.
side, right? Because I would do a lot of other stuff like I do like iOS programming and I do like web development and stuff like that, and so like that process of kind of like creating stuff and like kind of like designing it myself and having the freedom to do that, like it felt really good. So that's what like I guess that's what kept me in CS, and also like I kind of felt like I was like pretty good at it too, like relatively. Yeah, that's why I stayed in CS. Yeah, honestly, like so like I have like passion for coding for sure. But maybe we'll touch on this later. But like when I like started working at Amazon, what I'm starting to realize is like work life computer science and like computer science for fun are like two very different things.
Okay, so like I feel like also like CS is coming, it's kind of becoming like the new like tech literacy, like not just like computer science and like software engineering, but also like just like a lot of STEM degrees. Like I'm like going to like chemical sciences and like even then like stuff like machine learning and like just like stuff like MATLAB. That comes up a lot. So and so like just knowing like CS is something that I like recommend it a lot because like it is becoming like a new like kind of tech literacy. So
What's interesting is like my friend asked me the other day. He was like, "Oh, like, why is like computer science like not oversaturated? Like, why are there still like jobs available when like everybody is like trying to go towards it, right?"
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure like CS is like probably one of the most popular.
And like I think the reason why is like if you think about like every company that's like ever existed, like suddenly with the rise of like technology, now they need someone to do their software for them, to make their mobile app, to make their website, right? So like suddenly every single company that has nothing to do with computer science requires computer science for their company, right? Which is why I feel like the demand for that job is like so high.
There's like a ton of like random like companies that they're like hiring like software engineers now that like have like nothing to do with like the product they put out.
Their core product has nothing their core product could be food, right?
Like Yelp, for example.
Like,
you're hiring like software engineers to do their like I don't know like the details, but like there's definitely like nowadays it's like
so like Yelp needs like engineers for like their mobile app, their website and stuff like that. But like even like for example Starbucks, right? Like Starbucks needs someone
on like the mobile end.
Mobile app or like help people take orders like online, like not in store or like something like that, right? So like they need people to handle that like web interface or like whatever software they have. So I guess that's why like computer science has been booming
Yeah.
recently.
I mean, and like on like side projects and stuff. So like I know you've done like a lot of like web design stuff, like a lot of app development stuff. So like, do you remember like some like the stuff that you've been like working on?
Like the projects
Yeah.
that I worked on. There's a lot of like troll stuff that I worked on, but for example, like when Pokemon Go came out, right?
Mhm.
There's like this craze over Pokemon Go. So like me and my friends being like the young like
College
visionary
kids.
kids, like we were just like, okay, let's just make a ton of money by capitalizing on this moment. So we're just like Pokemon Go had like early versions of Pokemon Go had problems with determining the location of Pokemon, right?
Okay.
So like it was a lot of RNG based on like or RNG for whether or not you will find a Pokemon near you, right?
Mhm.
Like if there's like a Psyduck near me, if I'm looking for a Psyduck, like I kind of need to wait for the Psyduck to show up as
Yeah.
I'm like walking around, right?
Mhm.
I have no way of like chasing after that Psyduck,
Yeah.
right? So what we were thinking about doing was like creating a mobile app where users can like input like, oh, like I found a Psyduck here, I found
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
So like if you want to find a Psyduck, then you can just open the app and say like, oh, like 10 users found a Psyduck in this
Oh,
location,
yeah.
right? So like we actually got really far with the app, and we were like about to upload it onto the
App Store.
yeah, and then what ended up happening was like we got blocked because like, we used copyrighted images of Pokemon, and then the next semester of college started, and then we just like gave up on that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So and also like a different product, someone else made like a service that like didn't require like user input. They actually used like whatever company that makes Pokemon Go, like I think they might have had an API or something.
Mhm.
So they like directly got the Pokemon locations.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah, so it was like a lot more accurate than using like user input. Right?
Yeah.
So like after we saw that and like the copyright issues, like we were just like, all right, screw it. Like we're just gonna
like, go on to better things.
Yeah, go on to better things. Like go back to college. Right?
I feel like copyright is like such a pain in the ass nowadays to like get to like bypass like
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
Like you have like a YouTube channel like
Yeah.
just like plug in like he does like guitar covers and
Yeah,
stuff.
I do a lot of like music stuff.
Yeah. So like do you ever like run into like copyright like infringement kind of stuff a lot with the music?
So for me, I'm like all the music on my channel is like made by me. I never play any music that someone else owns.
Yeah, I know this.
But okay, like one of my songs, like I got a copyright claim
Mhm.
from like a corporation or like a company saying that I use like a drum beat or like something like that was like copyrighted.
Mhm.
But like literally I make all my music, right? Like I don't know how like they could claim that.
Yeah. Okay.
But
like,
like
right?
yeah. But like what's strange is that I'm like my YouTube channel is like hella small, right? So
Mhm.
like I don't make money off YouTube at all.
So like
yeah.
hobby kind of thing.
Yeah, it's just a hobby. So like what's weird is like they made the copyright claim, right? And I was just like, okay, like I don't really care that the claim is there because the video is not taken down, right?
Yeah.
But like I just like click the dispute button, like
Mhm.
like I just don't like having the copyright sign like on my video.
Yeah.
So like I clicked the dispute button, and then I told the reasoning. I was like, okay, like all this music is like literally made by me. Like I could prove it if you want me to, right? And then all that YouTube gave me was like, oh, these guys have like 30 days to respond to your claim or something, and they didn't respond. And like if they don't respond, then my video just stays with the copyright claim, and it's not allowed for monetization.
So you just take it down,
Or it doesn't get taken down. You just can't make any money off it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that doesn't matter, right? But what I realized from that experience is that like let's say YouTube was actually like my business, like how I made money. Like those copyright claims are like really powerful. Like it's hard to fight against that, and they can do so much damage to your business too. So it was interesting to think about.
Yeah. So like I was wondering like how did you like get around like the idea of like starting a YouTube channel for like covers like.
How did I like get that idea?
Or like where did I all start? I guess.
Okay, let's see. I have to go kind of back. So sophomore year of college, I was really sad because like I just broke up with my girlfriend at the time, and then I also like had a really bad relationship with my roommate. So like it was rough times, man.
Yeah.
And then one night, like I was like staying up hella late, and then I was like looking up. I was just like looking up like YouTubers and stuff, right? And I came across like this guitar YouTuber, like Jung.
Oh, yeah.
And then like he was like playing guitar covers on YouTube, fingerstyle. And I was like, oh shit, like this is so good. Like, I've never heard guitar played in this way before, right? So like that.
Only when you were simping.
Yeah, it was like that emotional part of me that like brought that out. But I think like that's what got me to start playing guitar, right? But like with starting to play guitar, I was just like, okay, like am I just gonna play this or am I just gonna play guitar, or am I gonna try to do something more with it, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I kind of started thinking like, okay, like I'm gonna start playing guitar, and I eventually want to put my music like on a platform, right? So yeah, so like a little over 2 years later, like I ended up, it didn't end up being exactly like the path that I originally planned. So before it was just like, okay, I'm just gonna be like this clone of Jung, right? Just like play fingerstyle covers and only record that, right? But like as I started like delving deeper and deeper into music, I started being like, oh, okay, like I'm really interested in learning how to sing, right? Or like I kind of want to get into music production, like stuff like that, right? So like I started going into different avenues just from that one inspiration, and then now like my music covers are more like not just strictly or limited by like guitar, but just like any music in general. So like I've wanted to like make covers of songs, like full covers of songs with like all the production, or I've wanted to like write my own music and make like original songs. So yeah, that's kind of where I came from.
So thanks to like Jung, right?
Yeah, you can say that. Or I can thank my roommate and my ex-girlfriend for that too.
Everything starts from heartbreak.
Yeah. Life changes fast. Yeah.
So your roommates, like I think they were like kind of like, I noticed that they're kind of pretty big in like kind of spurring your like whole like music. Kind of side too.
Yeah. So this wasn't like the roommate that I had problems with before. It was like, after that situation, I found new roommates, and then like those roommates are the ones that really influenced me, musically. So like in particular, like, for example, my roommate Daniel.
Yeah.
Like he's really like, I don't know how to describe it. He has a really diverse music taste.
Yeah.
Right? And he's the type to, like, he constantly, like, tries to show me artists that I've never heard of. And, like, at first, there was, like, this kind of running joke that I was, like, uncultured because he would, like, show me super popular musicians that I didn't know, who I should have known. Like, for example, like, I didn't know like John Mayer, and I like guitar, right? Like, that's like an atrocity, right?
Uncultured song.
So like that's actually like that should be illegal.
Like,
I should go to jail for like a week for that. But like I do admit like I am like kind of uncultured. I'm the type like if I don't like them, or if I don't know them, I don't like actively like seek out like new artists, right? So like for example like I like Jung, right? So I limited myself in this like Jung bubble, right? And like only listen to like songs he was playing and stuff like that. So like yeah, I mean I have no excuse. Like I know John Mayer now, so like it's fine. But like my roommate Daniel definitely, he was just like he always like threw stuff out there to me that I didn't expect. So like it went from like artists that I like to he'd sometimes be like, oh hey, like you know what would be like a hella good song name? Sunset Runners, right? So he said that to me, right? And then like a few months later we actually made a song called Sunset Runners, right? So like that's like the kind of stuff that was really cool because he has all these ideas and he has a lot of knowledge about like good music that he shared with me, and like once again like I'm not the type to actively be like constantly be pursuing like new music, right? So like having him there definitely exposed me to things that I otherwise wouldn't have, and that's helped influence not only like my music taste, but it also motivated me a lot to go towards a certain direction.
Yeah, it's really cool because like that's kind of like what I'm trying to like accomplish with like because like I'm like kind of like in his like I guess music like interests. What it means that like I actively search like new artists a lot.
Yeah,
And so like what I personally like doubt is that like like if I like recommend like a song to like a person and like most of them won't like like catch on to it that much.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
it's like really cool to see like like that kind of like relationship between like someone who like has like a lot of like who knows like a lot of genres and stuff and like someone who's like also like willing to like explore those kind of genres. Like,
Yeah,
that kind
yeah.
of relationship, like,
I was kind of like a blank slate. I was like, okay,
Oh,
I
okay.
like guitar, but I don't know like the artists or like the bands or like the songs that are associated with guitar. So like whatever you threw at me, I just like I was a sponge. Like I just
Yeah,
like,
okay.
absorbed it. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's like harder to like have people absorb what you're interested into when
Yeah.
you already have like their own defined
Yeah,
taste.
yeah. I think like when like I notice that a lot now.
Mhm.
Like I realize I was like kind of an exception in that case
Okay.
because like I feel like when I go up to a lot of people now, I'm just like, hey, like I love this artist, right? Like I've been like playing him for hours, like you gotta listen to him, right? And then they listen and they're like, oh, it's okay.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's alright. And I'm like, you're gonna add it to your playlist, right? And they're like, no. So yeah, it is what it is.
I mean, it's the goal
Yeah,
to
yeah.
have it in their own playlist.
Yeah. So, yeah, everyone has their own tastes, and then so like, yeah, you can't really like change someone's. I think if the tastes aren't really like tangible yet, you can influence someone. But if people are like set in what they like, you can't really tell someone to like something else. So, yeah, I think like with doing music, it's really made me value like individuality a lot.
Okay.
Like yeah, cause like for example, like when I sing, I used to, or I am still kind of like this, but like I'd be like, hey, like I really want to sound like this artist, right? I want to embrace like this guy's style, right?
Yeah.
But obviously like we're not the same, right? Like I don't have the same voice as him, right? I don't have like the same experience as him. Like so it's not always like going to work out the way I want it to. So like what I've kind of learned is like I take influence from people, but then I like develop my own way of my own style.
Yeah.
In a sense, and like I accept that. Right.
Which you're also kind of like a mix of like all your.
Yeah. I think everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone is in a way, but yeah, it's like you kind of just because you're like I'm using like the voice example here, but just because your voice sounds different from the thing that you like doesn't mean that's a bad thing, right? You just accept that it's different and you just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like some like friend of mine said like when it comes to like creativity, there's no such thing as like a perfect vacuum where like you're like putting forward like completely like original content.
Yeah.
It's like you're always like influenced by like some previously
Yeah.
done like works and stuff. So
I mean, all music these days, constant recycling.
Yeah.
Things that exist.
but it's like sampling.
Yeah. Like people are just like sampling every song these days. So
Yeah,
like
and like rap and stuff.
yeah. So like not that I totally dig those songs. Like it's like I'm really glad that like these like classic songs are being sampled into like these like modern twists, which is awesome. But yeah, that's just like the reality. You can't expect to be fully original in anything, and in whatever you do, you kind of have to respect and pay homage to like whoever came like before.
Yeah. Alright, so we just took a little break to like bring him more closer into the camera. So I'm not taking up all the space.
Yeah. They gotta see the special guest.
Okay, so so when you're like doing your own music production, like what's your like producing style? Would you say are you like sampling or like do you try to do like, a lot of synth stuff or
style like. How do I describe?
well, like can you backtrack to like one of your previously done songs and like kind of the process there?
Wait, so you're talking like original songs, right? Not
Sure,
like,
yeah, original.
Yeah. So I don't have like that many original songs, but like from the experience that I have with them, it usually kind of starts with I'm just on the guitar, and then I play around with it. I try to find like a chord progression that I really like.
Yeah.
And then once I kind of find that, just like the chord progression, then I experiment with like melodies and stuff, like vocal melodies, and then like I'm just like, okay, like if I feel like the vocals are like coming out and there's things that I like, then I'm like, okay, this chord progression could work. So like I'll first record the chord progression, or I'll record like the guitar part, right? And then based on that, I add layers to it.
Okay.
So like so like the chord progression is key over everything else. Everything else is kind of fluff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So like I have my guitar, then I try to add a beat, and then I add my vocals, and then I add like a bunch of other instruments to like the song.
Yeah.
So like that's kind of like. I say all this stuff like as if I have like a super organized process, but in reality it's like I'll have like a random chord progression that I recorded on my phone, and then I'll just like keep it there for like a while, like a long time, and then like one day I'll just be like, oh shit, like I've just thought about like the perfect thing that goes with this progression, and then like things will just like
it's
spiral,
like
right? And then it'll just like rev up from there. So like I don't consider myself like an artist by any
producer.
Like I don't consider myself to have like any sort of label right now. So like I kind of just like do things on a whim.
It's
like
up and coming.
So like I just like think about like, hey, like maybe I want to write a song right now, or like I've been listening to this really good song, I want to write a cover for that, right? So I kind of just like let things happen like naturally.
Do your like old roommates like kind of help with the process too? Since like I know like Harry, right? I mean
Daniel,
yeah. He's like more musically inclined.
Yeah.
So does he ever like pitch in stuff to help you with your songs?
So before like the Sunset Runner song, that was a song that he came up with like the title, and then we wrote it together.
Okay. That's
cool.
Cool.
So like I came up with the chord progression, and then he came up with like some like backup electric guitar, and then we worked together like on the lyrics. So that process was like really cool, like that whole music production process of like having this full project made with one of your best friends. So like that was really nice. But ever since then, we haven't necessarily like worked together on any music. But at the same time, he'll still like always provide like feedback, like oh like this sounds good, or like oh you should make a song called this, or like stuff like that. Right? So he provides like input, but now it's more so like the music is like stuff that I'm making. Like he's not like as interested in it as I am.
Okay. I mean, it's like pretty cool that you like found like such like a really like tight knit group of like roommates to like room with for like the past 2 years. Yeah,
it's 2 years. Like I got along well with my roommates, so like going from like the stressful roommate life to like the good roommate life felt really nice.
So like is that like kind of like how like most like housing situations turn out? Like you just like find like a really like solid group of core friends to like house with at Berkeley, or
not necessarily. Like sometimes like you'll like some people are really lucky to find like that really good community, and then they can find people to room with, but I think like that is not something you should take for granted. It's like it's not easy to come by. Like even if you have the community, it's also like no guarantee that there'll be people who are able to room with you. So that's like I'd say, and a lot of the time you can be like friends with someone. Like for example, like the roommate that I didn't get along with. Like he was my best friend in high school, right? So like when we roomed together, we were expecting like all these like great things, but it ended up being like, oh, like maybe this like sudden change of environments wasn't like good for us. So like it's you have to learn a lot in the process of like learning how to be like a good roommate, learning how to accept people, like learning all that stuff, and it's like difficult. So like a good roommate situation is never guaranteed, and it's never something you should take for granted.
I think it's like especially since like a lot of like people from like our high school, like we go to the same high school, and like a lot of them who like go to like the same college together, like they like they're like they automatically like just go with their like best friend from high school.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like a lot of I would imagine it's like a lot of trouble when they like start noticing like differences that they can't settle. When they're in college versus
like what ends up happening, it's like usually it's not anyone's fault.
Okay.
Yeah, so usually it's like two best friends go to a new school, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're both exposed to like really new things after being in like the same bubble for like a really long time. And so both people, even though they're best friends, they're different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like based on what they're exposed to, one person's gonna go one way and then one person's gonna go another way.
Yeah.
And then inevitably they'll start noticing that they're different, that like they have different passions, they're hanging out with different people, and then like they might not be as close. Like on the rare occasion, like you could be like best friends like all through that new experience, but a lot of the time, like I know a lot of people who are like really close in high school, but they don't talk anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And even when they went to the same school.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just like a reality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like people as they grow up and as they have different experiences, they just they can grow apart. Yeah. And
I feel like where I'm at right now, like I guess like a lot of people migrate like in the kind of like summer, like they're starting to notice that like now they don't have like high school anymore, to like kind of like has like common ground for them to be friends with. It's like common environment. So now like it's like summertime where like everyone's doing their own thing, and like now like this like the school year where like everyone's like different colleges.
Yeah.
That's when like a lot of like bridges are being burned, and it's kind of like it's like I've been told it's like really. It's pretty easy to like feel lonely when you're in your first year.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
but I mean, it doesn't have to feel that depressing because like if you think about it, you're in this new environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are gonna be exposed to so many new people that you can become like best friends with, right? But that's the thing. Like if you aren't like proactive about it, then there is that chance that like you feel lonely. You still want to connect with your high school friends, but like they're not. They're busy with their own stuff, so they're not like hanging out with you as much or stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I can say though is like, one, college is like a place where a lot of people find like their best friends, and then also, the high school friends that you remain friends with even past college become like some of your closest friends, because you realize that like that separation or that amount of like change in your life, like it did nothing to compromise like your friendship.
Oh, right? That's like really good.
Yeah. So like I have like a really tight knit group of high school friends. Like honestly, like in terms of like college, like I made like pretty close friends, right? But like
nothing rivals them.
I value like my high school friends like so much. Yeah, and even though like we didn't go to the same school, we still like kept in touch, and like we're still like even after graduating college, like now we're still like hanging out all the time. So like
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's like the best thing if you can do that. Right?
Yeah.
But you have to also know that that's not always like.
Yeah, it's like the ideal, because like if you have like a friendship that can like 2 years go by and like you don't talk to each other and like you like reunite and like it's still like the same sense of like intimacy. And, it's like a really like good friendship.
Yeah,
honestly.
It's great.
Yeah. So like during like first couple of years you're like going through like roommate stress and like also like that like whole like ex-girlfriend kind of stress.
Yeah.
And that kind of like kind of expert onto like this whole like I guess like revival with like music and stuff. Right?
I wouldn't call it revival.
I don't know what like better term.
Yeah,
it's like a rediscovery.
It's like change. Like self-discovery.
There's like a really interesting like thing about like music where it's like I guess like a lot of like popular like music icons like they ended up having like really like fucked up lives before, and like that kind of like made for like a lot of their like material to be really like more powerful.
Yeah. Wait. Hold up. Like.
Well, I'm not like saying that like a bad child is like.
No. I want to talk about this because like one thing I noticed, because like I try to write songs sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And then people like other people write songs that are really like lyrically like emotional, right? And so like I listen to that and I'm like, wow, that's so good, right?
Yeah.
Like let me try to write something like that, right? And like for me, I think like for like songs to be kind of like an extension of yourself, you have to write about like your personal experiences, right?
Yeah.
It's like thinking about lyrics, right? Fuck, like do write about how hard this test was? Like what do I write about? Like, cause like I live in like a very privileged like
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, right. So like man, like I obviously I'm not gonna say like, oh, like I wish my life was like hard, so like I'd have
Yeah,
stuff to write about.
yeah.
But I'm just like that's kind of like what I experienced. Like
Mhm.
like I have like trouble writing about deep things because honestly there's not that like many like deep like
Yeah.
traumatizing things that like happen to me. So
Yeah, so like, for example, like I've been like trying to like, I started like doing like rap stuff, like
yeah.
like because I have like a mild stutter, so actually what like helps a lot is like singing along to rap songs because like rap is like kind of like rhythmic talking, so it's like
Yeah.
it helps like give me like a cadence to like talk with,
Mm-hmm.
and so like so I was really into like a lot of hip hop stuff, and like obviously there's like a lot of like content about like living in like really like bad environments, like a lot of like gang affiliated neighborhoods and stuff.
Yeah.
So I tried writing my own lyrics, but like obviously nothing is like
Yeah.
nothing I got there is like comparable to like growing up in like really like impoverished neighborhoods or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a really interesting like experience to like come from like a more like middle upper class like and like upbringing and like trying to like go into just like art and like mostly like a lot more troubled.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing though is like everyone has their own problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like no matter where you come from, like obviously the more understood problems are like people who are maybe in like poorer communities experience violence or like stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
They have the much more like clear problems, right? But like I think like even though like I'm in a privileged situation and my problems don't necessarily compare to that because it doesn't involve my survival, that doesn't mean like I don't have like my own problems, right? So like what I'm starting to think about is like, okay, like maybe I could use that as like my material, like even though like I'm not like struggling to live or anything, like I do experience like emotions from my problems that are universal. So like there should be a way for like people who listen to like connect with that.
Like love is like it's like a very like universal topic in a lot of songs because like everyone can experience it. So like a lot of pop songs, songs in general like relate to like love and like relationships. So,
yeah.
That's one thing. And also like what was I gonna say? So I think like this idea of like privilege and like like being like conscious of it and like trying not to like you know like get like over it and like trying to like, not exaggerate your own problems. It's kind of like sometimes kind of like difficult for like I guess me personally because I often think that like I have like a pretty like stable life. I live in a pretty like good upbringing, so like I shouldn't have any problems to be dealing with.
No, so, That's like that's the thing. Like you should never, or like that's what I said before. Like everyone has their own problems. Like just because you live in like a privileged life doesn't mean everything has to be okay, right? And you can't like. I think what a lot of people do is like they'll have a problem, right? And they'll stress out even more because of the fact that they have that problem, right? So like you're just adding like extra stress.
It's like a negative feedback.
Yeah. So I think that's really bad, or like that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, actually, because like
you feel bad about feeling bad.
Yeah. So like for example, like whenever like I know I've only been working for 3 weeks, but like whenever work gets like stressful, right? I get like stressed out. I'm like, dude, like why am I doing this job, right? It's so hard, right? And then I'll start like thinking about like, like why am I thinking like that? Like I have this like great job, right? That like other people like really want, so I should be thankful for that. Like, why am I thinking? But then like I'm adding on to the stress by like judging myself, right? So I think these days I'm working on like kind of like like accepting who I am and like how I feel. Like if I feel bothered by something, like like it's okay to be bothered by something, right? Like I don't need to like have the same experience, or I don't need to have the experiences that someone from the outside expects me to have, right? Like everybody's different, so
I think like everyone's like having like a battle inside with something. Like, no one ever really has like a problemless life. Even like people who are like really like rich and like really like
for sure.
like really like celebrities for example, a lot of people like idolize them and they like want their lives, but then
Yeah.
I mean, even though like a lot of a lot of problems are like, taken care of, like I don't know, like money and like basic necessities, they still have like a lot of other problems that like are like not solvable
Yeah.
with money.
Yeah. Also like a lot of people, because like they see like you from the outside, right? So like problems that are easy to see from the outside are stuff like physical problems, like stuff like that, right? So like if you don't have like enough money, then you're like struggling to like get food and stuff like that, or like violence, you're injured, you have an illness, stuff like that, right? That's really easy to see from the outside, but like a lot of people like go through like mental stuff, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like actual like mental health illnesses or anything, but it could just generally be like maybe you like question like your identity, or like maybe you question like what you're doing with your life, and those are all like very real struggles, right? And like people can say those are like privileged problems to have, like like
I feel that way sometimes.
But like I think it's very natural, like if you're like if you're not struggling to make ends meet, then the next thing is like, what am I going to do with my life? It's a very natural thing.
It's like that like pyramid of like needs thing. Like there's like psychology like concept, like once you like solve this like basic need, and like you like go into like more problems with like the next level, like identity and stuff.
So like it's not like I would like, or it's like once again like it's not as threatening of a problem as like the level below it, but in the end it's still a problem that you feel like you need to solve, and a problem that will constantly be like stressing you out like other problems would. So I think that is like a point that not a lot of people realize. So I'm glad we like touched on it.
Yeah, I think we can like go on it even more actually, since like I know that like I mean I'm going into like Berkeley in like a week actually from like now, and obviously like one of the more like very like obvious cons about Berkeley is like this whole like stress culture and like mental health kind of dilemma. So like a lot of it I've like talked to like a lot of like upperclassmen there, and like a lot of it seems to like could be like rooted in like academic stress and like not performing well enough. So I mean, did you have any like issues? I mean, we kind of like mostly went over like your like more like personal like issues, like but like did you ever like have like stress about like academic performance at Berkeley?
Well, the story I always tell my friends is like after my first midterm at Berkeley, like I called my mom, and it was a CS midterm, so like I called my mom and said like, Mom, like I don't think I'm gonna do CS. Right? Like I thought I bombed that midterm. Turns out I did okay, right? But like
the curve.
But like it's just like that idea of like, oh, if there's a GPA cutoff, right? And like when you're first starting off in college, like even now at my age, like I'm 22 by the way, but like you think like whatever you're doing is final, and like if you can't get it, your life is like meaningless, right? Like you don't like actively think that, but like you think that like subconsciously, like for example, like you chose chemical engineering as your major.
I'm chemistry officially, but I'm trying to like switch into chemical engineering.
Yeah. Okay. So like let's say, does it have any like GPA requirements or anything?
No, it doesn't, which is actually like a pretty like good thing.
Okay.
Because like a lot of like LMS kids and like CS have to deal with that, and like I think that's a lot of like CS kids like struggles like come from that cutoff. Okay,
so I'll give you a more general thing. Like what if I threw this at you, like how do you feel if you suddenly went to Berkeley and then you started failing every class and you tried really hard but like you didn't feel like you could pass the classes?
And it's like chemistry or it's like in general?
In general, and then like you felt like you had to like drop out.
I would honestly like go to community college and like just try to like find like footing there.
Yeah, but like how do you think you'd feel?
Huh?
How do you think?
I think like the very like typical like perception of community college is like, oh, like I like failed here, and like I like went to like a more like the low end, which is like not true. Like community college is like a good point to be at.
Yeah.
But like there's like a sense of being like at like rock bottom.
Yeah.
Like
that was a pretty mature response actually. I was expecting more like be devastated. Like,
Oh.
like maybe you would be devastated.
I mean, like I haven't experienced like Berkeley like
Yeah.
slapping in the face with your bad.
Yeah, I'm not saying that will happen. That'll very unlikely for that to happen to you. But like what I'm saying though is like a lot of people like experience, or a lot of people are so like hell bent on like one thing, without really understanding like
why they're so concerned about it.
or like people are so hell bent on like accomplishing this one academic goal that they don't realize that that's everything, right? Like,
I mean, it's like not everything.
yeah, it's not everything,
Okay.
right? So like, for example, like that's what's leading to like struggles with mental health, because they're like, okay, like I have to make this major, otherwise
I'm done.
yeah, I'm useless. Like it's meaningless for me to like study or whatever, right? And then so like when they get their grade back and like it's like below average, which is not bad, by the way, because like Berkeley's an amazing school. You shouldn't feel bad about being below, like slightly below average at Berkeley, right? But like
it's like a lot of people's times, like for a lot of people, it's like their first time being like not at the top of class.
Yeah,
in high
yeah,
school, for example.
yeah. So like they'll be like, okay, like shoot, like I'm not fulfilling like my dreams.
Yeah.
Or, like I'm not
It's
doing,
like ideal path.
yeah, I'm not doing what I should be doing, right? And then their like self-confidence drops. They hate like the image of themselves.
Yeah.
Like they become like cutthroat even, like
Yeah.
to kind of like to accomplish this end goal no matter what.
It's like I it's kind of this feeling that like you're being cutthroat, that like I
Yeah.
can't succeed without like others failing.
Yeah. So like it's kind of like you want to pursue something, but you don't want to put that thing like on a pedestal. You know, like you don't want that thing to be your everything, because
there's no like right path.
Yeah, there's no right path. You will go like through life and you'll fail at things. Like, that's just natural, right?
Yeah.
So like you accept just like a failure as a learning opportunity, and you move on, right? You shouldn't. Honestly, my opinion is like you shouldn't take things so seriously that like you have to do something.
You have to be like perfect.
Yeah, you don't have to be perfect.
Like failure is like a healthier option than like trying to like be like 4.0 student.
Yeah. So the reason I'm saying, obviously, like you like people at Berkeley, they're academically successful, so they want to accomplish these like big things. But I'm just saying for the purpose of like, mental health, like I found that it's a lot easier to like have a healthier mental state if I approach everything kind of, this is not like a lax mentality, but it's like approaching it with like a mentality saying like everything's a learning experience, rather than it's either this or I failed. Yeah, like I'm nothing. Like yeah. So like you just need to make sure, like people are always putting pressure on you, right? Everyone from the outside. So you need to make sure that you're not putting pressure on yourself. This is like the feedback loop all over again, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So like you need to make sure that you take care of yourself, and because you have to realize that no one else is like responsible for your happiness but you.
You're like,
so
like you drive a seat.
Yeah, so if you don't take care of yourself, like no one else will. Yeah.
There's like an interesting like kind of quote, I guess, from like a friend of mine. It's like you have like people think they're like, oh, you only have like 3 swings to like bad in life, like, oh, like if you like you have like limited opportunities to like do like good, or like you're screwed for like the rest of it. But like
you only have 3 swings.
Well, like it's kind of like a metaphor for like,
Yeah.
like limited amount of time to, or like limited chances to like be like great.
Yeah.
Like he said like, oh, you actually have like unlimited swings to like bad in life.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
You honestly do. Like,
which is like really like really like novel concept for a
Yeah.
lot of people, because like with like grades, for example, like they think like, oh, they get like a below average score, and like they think it's like a permanent scar on their like
yeah.
ego forever or something like that.
For example, I keep bringing up work, but
Yeah.
like work is really hard right now.
Okay.
I'll be honest, like because I mentioned before that like school and work are very different,
Mhm.
so it kind of like caught me off guard
Yeah.
at like, for example, like how big the code base is, like how much I have to like I feel like I have to study to understand like a basic thing,
Mhm.
right? So it's really difficult, and I feel like sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's all good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. So here we go. So the unlimited swings thing that you said before,
Mhm.
like I sometimes like have thoughts like, okay, like what if I fail at this? Like what if I, like let's say like what if I like for whatever reason I get fired, right?
Mhm.
And I lose my job, right? Like I'm a failure if I do that, right? Like
That's what you think, right?
yeah, that's like thoughts that I sometimes have,
Mhm.
right? But then I realized like, listen, I'm so young right now, right? And like as long as I'm trying at stuff, it's okay to fail because I know that I can keep trying and as you said like swing again,
Yeah.
right? So like I'm so caught up in like the traditional path, like okay,
Mhm.
like everyone graduates at this time, like everyone gets a job at this time, like you know, like start making your money early, like
Start getting promotions.
yeah,
Stuff.
like start getting promotions, like get your money in a savings account real quick,
Yeah.
like, save up for retirement.
Get a
Like,
credit score up.
yeah. Like I need to make sure I follow this plan that
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
else is going through, and if I'm behind, then I'm inferior of a human being. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people have that mentality,
Mhm.
and I struggle with that a lot too.
Yeah.
Right, but like what I keep trying to realize is that like you know it's okay to be behind. It's okay to fail. It's okay to you know like it's okay to fail and try again at stuff and like fail again.
Yeah.
Like it's that stuff is fine. So not only is that a reality, just like approaching this approaching life with that mindset just helps out a lot
Yeah.
too.
It's both better for like your overall improvement and just like your own mental sake.
Yeah.
It like works both ways. So I think that's like I think that's a good place for us to like kind of wrap this up since we've been going for like
How long?
almost like 40-50 minutes.
Holy shit.
Yeah, time flies.
Yeah.
So I'm like I'm like obviously not like an official. I haven't like done my first like week of college even yet. So like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like early for me to be doing like a Berkeley podcast, obviously.
Yeah.
But like
Wait, what are you calling it again?
Cal Convos, something.
Cal Convos. Okay.
It's like
alliteration.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had some other names, but then that was like the most like the one that kind of worked the most well, I guess.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, like I could change it like totally from like now to like when it's being uploaded, which I don't know when it's gonna be uploaded.
You said like Cal perspectives before.
Well, that's like the idea, like
Yeah.
just like various like students and.
You gotta find like a clickbaity name.
I don't know. I'm trying to keep my content as like organic as
Oh
possible.
yeah.
So,
I mean, okay, yeah. Or the videos can be organic, and then the title can just be like clickbait or something. I don't know.
All right, so I guess like as I'm gonna go into my first week of college and to like maybe the three people left watching this, so like I guess like any like for any like anyone in like the audience who's like about to go to college and like as well as me too, do you have any advice for like baby freshmen like me?
Oh, you know, I never expected to be in these shoes.
I mean, you've always been kind of like an older brother for you,
Okay,
so
yeah.
is it really that new? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess okay. So everything I said in this video, I think is like advice.
Take notes, kids.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'd say like, do what or trust yourself and work on what you truly like to work on.
Okay.
Yeah. It's super cliche to say that.
Yeah, but like a lot of people like miss that entirely.
Yeah, because you don't realize it until you start working, but it's like work takes up so much of your life that you'll start to realize if it's not something that you really enjoy, then it actually becomes like toxic for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's super important. And obviously like if you're passionate in what you're working in, then you'll enjoy like going to work every day. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Anything like social or like.
Social, I'd say. Oh yeah, treasure your friendships. Like
Mhm.
you should, 100% treasure your friendships, and you should be proactive in trying to keep in touch.
Okay.
Like, friendship is kind of like, it's like a plant. Like if you don't water it, then it just dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, treat
A lot
your
of dying plants in my
treat
life
your
right now.
treat your friends like plants. But you know,
Don't step on them.
yeah, don't step on them. But yeah, like for example, like you should just like I even know someone who like they just wrote out on a list of people that they feel are really important to them,
Okay.
right? And they want to keep in touch with, right?
Mhm.
So like they'll just be like, oh, like if like 2 weeks go by and they check through their list and like, oh, I haven't talked to them in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
then they'll just shoot them a message like ask them
Mhm.
how they're doing and stuff. And like that little thing seems super small, and a
Mhm.
lot of the time like I'm like super lazy to like send someone a message
Yeah.
because like like I have to start a conversation and like what if they start talking about stuff and like rambling, right? Like right, but like I always like whenever I get into that conversation and like I always feel great afterwards. I'm just like
Mhm.
okay, like I'm so glad this person is still in my life and
Yeah.
like
The plant's still alive.
yeah, the plan's still alive. And also like I feel great when someone else shoots me a message,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so like when I feel great when like someone I haven't talked to reaches out to me, that makes me want to be like, oh, like I want to reach out to other people and like
Mhm.
give other people that feeling and maintain like friendships that way too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think socially that'd be my advice. Like with your high school friend, like high school friends is like the perfect way to start, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because those are the friends that you have now.
Mhm.
So you know, like you can just be going through your semester and be like, hey, like how's it going, right?
Mhm.
And like some friends, like they're kind of, it's depressing, but it's destined to not work out. Like they
Yeah.
won't like reply to you because they're just hanging out with their other friends.
Yeah.
But the ones that do, you'll know like
The real ones.
these guys are homies for life.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom from Kyung Anthony.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you all for watching this first episode of I guess Cal Convos, I guess for now, tentative name for this podcast. And once again, thanks Anthony for coming by.
Yeah.
And,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and hopefully you go back to work tomorrow, right?
You reminded me.
Well, it's the
But
same.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So best of luck at Amazon. Thank you all for watching again, and take care.
All right. See ya.